Wiccan has finally been confirmed in the MCU, but what do we know about him besides that he's the Scarlet Witch's son? Well, I'm going to break down Billy's comic history and how that may translate to what we see in the MCU. So from what we know so far, Teen and Agatha all along is actually Billy Maximoff, which is slightly altered from the comics background of Wiccan. In the comics, William Billy Maximoff is one of the twins of Scarlet Witch and Vision. Billy Maximoff was created by Steve Englehart and Richard Howell and first appeared in Vision and the Scarlet Witch issue number 12. Billy and his twin, Tommy, were both technically not real, but were creations of magic via Wanda. They were technically two lost souls which happened to be pieces of Mephisto's life essence. When Mephisto learned of this, he used Master Pandemonium to go get these fragments of his life essence back. But because Wanda's magic altered those souls so much, Mephisto essentially wasn't able to reabsorb them, and the souls were set free and happened to be reincarnated as actual people. One of those souls happened to be reincarnated into Billy Kaplan. Now, Billy Kaplan was created by Alan Heinberg and Jim Chung and first appeared in Young Avengers issue number 1, technically not as Wiccan, but as Asgardian. Billy technically took on the name of Wiccan in Young Avengers issue number 6. Now, Billy was the oldest son of Jeff Kaplan and Rebecca Kaplan and was living in the Upper West Side of New York City. Fancy, fancy. At a very young age, Billy knew that he was gay and unfortunately took a lot of abuse from people at school due to his sexuality. But one day, while sitting outside of Avengers Mansion, he ran into his favorite Avenger, Scarlet Witch, who gave him words of encouragement that said he can essentially take care of himself. Billy took that advice and stood up to the bully at school when he was picking on another student, but that's exactly when Billy's electrokinetic powers started to emerge and he almost accidentally killed the bully. Speaking of his powers, Billy's powers aren't exactly clear where they come from. He's definitely a magical being, but there's also some possibility that he is a mutant as well. And given his complicated history of who his actual mother is, with part of that being the Scarlet Witch, also just knowing the Scarlet Witch's complicated origin story, let's just assume Billy is a hybrid of a magician and a mutant. Now, quite similar to his spiritual mother, Scarlet Witch, his main power is magic, that being reality manipulation. Now, it's technically not confirmed that Billy has chaos magic in the comics like Wanda, but it's been hinted that he has some form of chaos magic. His other main power is elemental manipulation, that being electrokinetic energy, which usually originates from his hands and can be manipulated in various different ways. Given those two things, Billy is able to do a lot with his powers, and there is one more of his strongest powers that he possesses, but we'll talk a little bit about that later. The biggest downside, though, to Wiccan's powers are that if he can't hear his spells, they will subsequently not work. Now, after discovering that he has powers, Billy continues to practice and perfect them, and eventually was contacted by Iron Lad, a younger version of Kang the Conqueror, who found Billy via a failsafe initiative set up by a future version of Vision in case anything had ever happened to the Avengers. Billy and Iron Lad, along with Elijah Bradley, aka Patriot, and Teddy Altman, aka Hulkling, who Billy has a romantic relationship with, are the initial Young Avengers team. Now, this is where I think we will eventually see the Billy that we know in the MCU eventually end up. It's already been teased at the end of the Marvels that Kamala Khan, aka Miss Marvel, is looking to put together a team, and we saw her first approach Kate Bishop about joining. Now, in the comics, Kate Bishop is actually on the Young Avengers, and Kamala has actually never been on the Young Avengers. But we have seen other members of the Young Avengers in the MCU, including Elijah Bradley, Kid Loki, Cassie Lang, and America Chavez. With all of the changes coming up in the MCU and the possible soft reboot, I do wonder if this team will end up being the Young Avengers towards the end of the Multiverse saga, and then after that whole thing ends, eventually they transition to being the new Avengers. Either way, with everything coming down the pipeline for the MCU, there are a lot of great stories that involve Wiccan. Now, remember earlier when I talked about one of Billy's strongest powers? Well, there's a story in the comics that pretty much makes him one of the strongest, if not the strongest characters in the MCU right now. To learn more about those godlike powers, check this video out. And if it's not here yet, I promise it will be once I get it recorded.